Let's see here. Okay, I'm hoping that you can just see the first slide. Can somebody give me a thumbs up or a vocal? Yes, thank you, Sydney. So once again, welcome. Thank you for being here to the December 18th Preschool Promise Hub meeting. This is our first slide. The first three slides, and I added a slide, are always the same in this presentation. This is the mission, vision, and values of Department of Early Learning and Care that I would encourage you to go back and read. This is the Program Design and Administration Office slide, where the Preschool Promise program lives within the Program Design and Administration Office. And this talks about their role and then how they assist Preschool Promise grantees. And in addition, this is our new slide that I've added, and it talks about the Community Systems Office. I call it a team, and it's not, it's an office, so I got to correct myself on that. It talks about the role of our office, and then the Community System Office oversees the following bodies of work: the Early Learning Hubs, Spark, Coordinated Enrollment, Parent Education and Parent Leadership, and the Head Start collaboration. And over on the right of this slide, you will see the coordinated enrollment team, the mighty team of two, contact information. And you can always reach out to us. Oh, and this is the Preschool Promise Hub meeting, all inclusive, anything Preschool Promise, you are welcome to ask. This just explains who this meeting is for, the intended audience, and what we will hopefully cover. And on the agenda today, we have a few, we're going to briefly have a time for if there's any questions and answers around the low enrollment process. That will be on the Preschool Promise grantee updates. And then on the hub updates, I just want to give a little bit of time to see if you have any questions on the implementations of the two new placement reports. Then I have a slide to cover the new updated Preschool Promise application and certificate of eligibility. Then I have a few things to discuss on the gala waiver. If we have time, which I'm hoping that we do, we will have a discussion question and then open question and answers. But as always, you are welcome to ask questions anytime that we're having the conversation. I encourage you. Thank you. So, before I move to the next slide, I can't see you all, and I don't believe there's any newer hub staff, but if there is, I would certainly like to take a moment to allow you time to introduce yourself and allow others to introduce them. Sydney, would you help me to see if there is any? I don't think there is, but if there's any hands raised.
I am not seeing any.
Okay, thank.
Mm.
Oh, wait a minute here. Hold on. I don't know. Hold on here. For some reason, I must have clicked something. Let me get that back up. Thank you for your patience. I think I was all trying to see you, and then I clicked something. One moment while I get that back up. Ah, one moment. I have to plug in my mouse. Thank you. Sorry for this. And as I do this, I will talk once I'm doing this. I have a colleague from the Preschool Promise team that will be here to help us with um, the new low enrollment process. Let's see here. Ah, hold on. Sydney, would you mind helping me?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry to ask you right on the spot. I shared that with the presentation with you in Outlook, and it looks like even plugging in my mouse is not working.
Yeah, do you want me to share
Wow, I'd be grateful. Thank you.
the
Thank you.
slides? Sure.
Oh, maybe I can. Are you sharing?
I was about to.
Okay, let me see if this
Uh,
will work. Am I sharing?
No,
Okay. Oh, no.
no.
Okay. There we go. Hopefully I am. Let's get
Okay,
it
it's
going.
there now, Mel, but you just need to click that
Yeah.
other full screen
Yep.
presentation button. There you
There we
go.
go.
Yeah,
Okay.
good to go.
Whew, thank you for all that. Okay, so on back to the welcome. If you wouldn't mind, so that we know who was all in attendance today, if you wouldn't mind just plugging in your name and what hub you were with in the chat, we would be grateful for that. And then next, I am going to go to the next slide and see if my colleague Lisa is here from the Preschool Promise team. And this slide is more, she's going to cover the low enrollment process. But this slide, I just have had quite a few questions around the enrollment improvement plan, and then a few questions around the corrective action plan and what that will look like this program year. And so I have just invited our colleague Lisa Buss from the Preschool Promise team to help answer any questions. If there is any today, there may not be, but I just invite you to either put them in the chat and or come off mute and ask anything so that we can help clarify.
Hi, Mel. I just wanted to make sure this is a point where you guys would like me to present this
Yes.
information, or we just, okay,
No,
awesome. Thank
please.
you.
Thank you. I'm going to
Yeah,
make
no
myself
worry.
muted. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Hi, everybody. My name is Lisa Buss. I am the Compliance and Monitoring Specialist with the Preschool Promise Program. And what you see in front of you is the low enrollment process that is occurring for this program year, starting this program year. So we'll start with the very first item that talks about the first instance, which is the enrollment improvement plan. And during that timeframe, the enrollment improvement plan is going to be at that very first instance where a grantee for our purposes in their monthly report falls below that 80%. So to make it just a little confusing, but to give you some story, if this were to be in the September and October reporting month, which would be August and September, since we're always a little bit of a month behind, we would be looking at anything less than 60% because we want to give grantees that time to know that, enrollment can fluctuate, placements fluctuate, people move in and out of areas when school years first start. So we give that a little bit of a different leeway. But for all intents and purposes of what we're talking about, we're going to talk about the 80% because we are now outside of the August reporting and September reporting. So we'll just focus on 80%. So that first instance is when that enrollment improvement plan is identified, is upon our review of monthly reporting by the grantee. Anybody that falls below 80%, they are going to be engaging in that enrollment improvement plan, which includes the collaboration and coordination with you guys to be able to connect together, create that plan, work on that plan, which how I like to describe it as it's kind of in a similar function as to what the corrective action plan used to be, how you guys would come together, right? Create a corrective action plan. Think of it as the corrective action plan is no longer a part of that process per se. It's now the enrollment improvement plan. So it kind of just shifts and the mind of Preschool Promise corrective action plan feels like it should have something with a little more finality, action based, right? If these things aren't complied with, we want the enrollment improvement plan to be more collaborative and communicative to where you guys can come together, talk about things, identify what's working, what's not, really brainstorm to figure out what's working well for this particular site. It is site-based, so it's not, it's just going to be those sites that are under-enrolled. It's not going to be everybody within the hub or anybody that's all of those grantees. It just happens to be that grantee's site that hits low enrollment. So once that process goes through, we will then monitor that low enrollment improvement plan for 3 months. What we're doing in that 3 months, we're hoping that those numbers will just continue to go up, right? They'll go above that 80%, which will be great. It'll just be a thank you. It continue, keep moving on with that enrollment improvement plan. Or if it's maybe not going so great or you're not reaching those benchmarks like you were hoping, tweak things, change things, communicate together and find out what might work better, what things did work, what didn't work. And then just, like I said, continue on that 3-month path. If we're able to identify for 3 months that they're above that 80%, then the low enrollment, that enrollment improvement plan, it no longer exists, right? It kind of goes away. Hopefully, if it was successful, the idea is you'll continue to use it, tweaking it along the way. So it's kind of a working document that you guys can utilize and use at your disposal. If it worked well, great. If some things worked well, some things didn't, you might use it across other sites, other locations, use it how you see fit. Now, in the unfortunate instance, if someone does not come out of that low enrollment, right? Then they hit a second instance. We'll talk about, we'll go with the most discouraging first. I know that's not fun, but we'll go with the most discouraging first. You start your low enrollment improvement plan, right? But that very next month, they also then again are still under that 80%. That's what then kicks it into the second instance of low enrollment. And what that second instance of low enrollment does is it just puts like another set of eyes on it, right? So what we're asking at that point, if significant progress hasn't been made, then you would have the technical assistance team also present for your assistance, right? So you would, the hub, the grantee, the technical assistance folks from the Preschool Promise team would meet, connect, and really walk through, process through, come up with other ideas, really address why we're still at that low enrollment phase. So now let's take another scenario. You hit your less than 80%, you have your enrollment improvement plan. The next month, let's say it's at 90. Looks good, right? Okay, good job, thank you, we're doing good, keep plugging away. But then let's say that following month, it dips down again below that 80%. So what that does then is even though it's not consecutive after the first low enrollment of 80%, it's still within that time frame to where it would also then kick them to that second instance. So it kind of, if you want to look at it like this, if you have that low enrollment and that enrollment improvement plan, that improvement plan stays until we can see 3 months of progress above 80%. And that's when it ends at that point. But if any time in between that, it falls below 80% again, it's not that we're asking you to, okay, now create another new EIP. Really, it's about, let's address that current EIP. Let's get to the table. Let's bring Preschool Promise to the table as well. And let's talk about it. Let's figure out, let's brainstorm, let's collaborate. Let's identify things that maybe weren't looked at before. And let's really kind of address those and put the best minds together and come up with a plan that we think will hopefully be successful. After that second instance, we identify that someone is still below that 80%. That is when it moves on to a corrective action plan. And at this corrective action plan juncture for the Preschool Promise program, it will not be a part as what you're used to, right? So previous corrective action plans, I think kind of were what an EIP plan is what we were talking about for now, what the corrective action plans were before. These corrective action plans will be between the Preschool Promise team and the grantee. And so it'll be something we create, the Preschool Promise team does, and present it to the grantee as in, you're now in this pretty much a more precarious position. You've now gotten 3 months of low enrollment per reporting. We do not see significant progress. We've brought, the hub to the table. We've identified enrollment improvement plans. We've done technical assistance. We've done ongoing monitoring, and something's just not working, right? We need to be able to reevaluate. We need to be able to identify, do these slots need to be, reevaluated? Is there no longer a need in that hub region, in that community where we need to reassess and reallocate? Do we need to look at grant termination? We just need to have a process to be able to identify and move forward based on this information. So like I said, I know you guys, CAP has been, corrective action plan has been, what your signature piece was to be able to connect with the grantees. We're just kind of shifting that into that enrollment improvement plan and just really hoping for some great collaboration between the hubs and the grantees to work together to come up with plans for placements. No one expects everybody to do it on their own, right? We all work better when we work together, and that's what the full intention is behind this. And we all have to realize also, not everybody can get there, and it's not placing blame on any one or the other, but we do have to move forward and take action based on what we're seeing. And so that's what the whole intent behind this is. Also understanding we're not unreasonable people, right? We want to see people succeeding. So if we're going along and we're seeing that there's gradual progress and things are happening, that's a good thing. It's not, we're able to have those conversations, meet as a team, even with the Preschool Promise team, meeting with your coordinated enrollment, and really having those conversations about what's working and what isn't. The idea is not to be, utilize the enrollment improvement plan as punitive. It is really about collaboration, connections, communication, outreach, marketing, really working together to see what's working well. And hopefully, as we go along, we're going to be reviewing these enrollment improvement plans. We're going to have a group, our Preschool Promise team will be reviewing all of these plans individually. And we're hoping that we'll see trends, right? Things that are working really good in one area that we can maybe suggest when we're doing technical assistance that might work well in another area that's struggling. So it's really the idea behind it is to get the best minds together, help our grantees that need help, support the hubs when we can support the hubs, and just really be that connection to where we can keep people off of corrective action plans, keep them out of losing slots, terminating their grants, any, unsavory actions on that behalf. So hopefully that provides a little more clarity behind it. Like I said, the idea is not every single month you guys have to do another EIP, but really if you could be open to understanding that not every well-thought plan works out, right? Even the most well-thought plans sometimes need to change, and that as everybody can just kind of be fluid and be connected and communicate is really, I think, the best thing and we can hope for. And that's the true intent, is getting everybody to the table and talking.
Thank you, Lisa. We appreciate
Yeah.
you coming and explaining that. Much appreciation. If there is any questions or follow-up questions, I welcome you to put them in the chat and or just come off mute.
Hey Mel, it's Zach over at Central Oregon. Can I ask a
Hi,
quick
Zach.
question?
Of course, you can ask more than one question.
Awesome. So with the reduction or in funding, or that it's kind of flatlined, when we're looking at implementing a plan like this and saying we need to revisit marketing, we need to revisit, whatever that goes into that plan, are there going to be any extra dollars to help supplement something like that? Does that make sense? Because if we're saying, hey, we're throwing our marketing budget into this, we don't have enough money to do this also, is that falling on the provider, or where is that supposed to come from?
The funding, and any of my colleagues, please, you're welcome to jump in. The UPS truck just got here, so my dog is barking. Apologies. The funding from that would be via your coordinated enrollment grant. That would be the funding, or any other, I don't know what that's what that is what the coordinated enrollment grant is for marketing and outreach and collaborations. That's what component of it is for. Does any uh, else want to, that I, at Doc, want to insert anything or add?
Sure, Mel. I would just echo what Mel just said, Zach, that the idea is that that is part of the coordinated enrollment grant duties for the hub, and in terms of, whether it's specific marketing dollars or if it's staff time, because sometimes outreach can be attending a community meeting or building relationships. It can also be flyers or other items that might cost money, but part of the overall strategy.
Okay, maybe to clarify, we're trying to budget out to have marketing and everything last for the whole year. And then when something additional comes up on top of that, that's where I have concern that we wouldn't be able to implement something that we come up with in this enrollment improvement plan. Does that make sense? So I'm not saying like we don't have any money. I'm saying the money that we are
Right.
getting is being budgeted in a way to last throughout the year, and then say, a couple of kids move from a program, somebody's on an enrollment improvement plan, we're not getting any leads for a month or so. Now we need to look at doing something else. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well, but it just seems like we would be running, just a second, buddy. We might be running out of resources there.
Mhm.
So if I could tackle that for just a
Go ahead.
second or try and hopefully understand. So I guess my question would then be, what do you normally do? Let's say you're going along and you've got some sites in your area that they are struggling. You aren't able to meet their needs. What do you normally do that would be in your budget? Do you have any safety nets in your existing budgets that you work in prior to what was maybe flatlined this program year that you use? Do you have processes or procedures? Do you have techniques? How do you normally help grantees now before the enrollment improvement plan to get them up to where they need to be?
We relied a lot on childcare resource.
Chuck,
That's one of the ways we work really closely with that team. We're actually housed in the same building with them now, so we've done a lot with them to help get the grantees to do a little bit more on their own. But really, it's coming out of PD. It's coming out of funding that we've used to help CCR provide new educational tools and things for these providers. So it's coming out of that kind of budget where we've had it like built in to make the programs better and help assist them in different ways. So now that's going away because it's almost all going into like marketing and promotional items now.
but the intent behind the hubs is that enrollment component, right? Because grantees can't go get their own enrollment. Does that mean they can just sit back and not do anything? Absolutely not. Part of the operations plan for Preschool Promises, they're engaging, right? They're doing things too. Hopefully they're putting maybe signs out in their yard, or they're also going to those community events that you guys are at. You're kind of going in tandem. So I guess to me, it sounds like a lot was relied on for the CCR and Rs. Is that correct?
I wouldn't say a lot of it, but they've definitely helped with coaching the providers up on how to market themselves better, helping finding opportunities. We're a team of two, so if we attend events every weekend, then we're missing out on time during the week. And so it seems like it's stretched pretty thin already.
So it sounds like those would be excellent opportunities to put everybody collectively together, right? There's nothing that doesn't say in the enrollment improvement plan, you also can have the CCR and Rs there as your support. So the enrollment improvement plan requires the grantee and the hub to get together and create this plan collectively. You want to bring over the CCR and Rs, and that's something that they do in your area, and they can bring some insight and they can have some ideas, and you're jotting them down, and that's going to be part of your plan and your component. Absolutely. I think utilize whoever you can in your community, because what our goal is we need everybody at 100%, right? I mean, that is Preschool Promises expectation is 100%. We're looking at 80%, below 80%. So they're already a far cry from where they're supposed to be. So there should be already built-in mechanisms, I'm hoping, with the hubs in all of your experience and your guys' collective knowledge, to where you have things in place to be able to get people above that mark. Because hopefully it's not very many. I know things can fluctuate, but there should be safeguards in your plans that allocate for that, because it's bound to happen. It can happen. For some families, it can happen. For some grantees, it can be one person, right? If you've got an RF that only has four slots and one slot isn't filled, that does put them down at 75%. They are going to hit our low enrollment, right? So it's all relative. If you've got a very large center and they don't have 5 or 10 kids, it's probably maybe not going to move the needle to where they're below 80. So it's really maybe working together to shift your mindset to really focusing on those ones that need the help the most. It doesn't mean everybody else doesn't need enrollment and marketing and outreach, but it's really shifting your focus on those that need it most, because they are at risk of losing those slots, which then in turn means the community is at risk at losing those slots, because the agency is going to be looking at those. And if we identify there isn't a need, those slots can ultimately be shifted to a different area within the state of Oregon. And that is something Preschool Promise is going to be looking at potentially. The hope is for people to get creative. That is the idea. Creative juices, right? I mean, just thinking outside the box. I mean, I think everybody just gets in a space where it's like, oh, well, we do these flyers, we do this. Thinking about it a little differently, like maybe flyers aren't working. Why are we spending so much on flyers? Maybe we need to do a banner at the community church or the school or at the, I don't know, the local grocery store. I don't know. I think that's the whole idea, is creativity and thinking of different ways to do things can be intimidating, but also can be fun. And hopefully collectively, you guys, when you meet in these kind of groups like this, bring your best ideas. You know, everybody who's got some things that are just really working and you haven't had anybody that falls under 80%, talk about it, share, tell everybody what's going on. And hopefully others can learn from that and change some of the things they're doing as well.
Liz,
Thank you, Lisa.
yeah.
Sorry, Mel. I just noticed that I know we have a couple of hands up. I also just wanted to pull in a question in the chat that was in there for a little while as well. Rod had a question. If families, and then we'll go to the hands up. If families have safety concerns creating low enrollment about a preschool promise grantee, should we notify licensing, use PSP feedback form? Oh, Lisa, you're muted.
Awesome. Sorry. Anytime you have safety concerns, mandatory reporters make that report, whether you think it's real or not, right? Whether you can identify it, justify it, you've seen it, you do not have to know it's true. It is just you believe there are safety concerns that should immediately be reported. One, to child welfare for sure. Second, you should definitely be notifying the licensing if they are a licensed provider. Third, most definitely, there's the concerns form that is available for the hubs to complete. You fill out that concerns form, it drops it into the concerns smart sheet for us. And I am reviewing those and we are staffing those, and we staff those on a weekly basis. We let you know that we've received your email. It's a very vanilla email. Thank you for reaching out. We will look into things, so on and so forth. And then we do what we can on our end. But yes, most definitely, as soon as you have that information, let us know for sure. And first of all, let child welfare and licensing know. Child welfare first, licensing know, and then us, or all of us at the same time. But definitely do that component.
Thank you, Lisa. We had a situation last year where they families were reporting concerns, but nothing specific enough to, you know, create a report. But we literally, all of our slots were full except one program, and we had families on the wait list that would not put their kids in that program. So
And those are
that's
things we
kinda,
want to hear. And that's what that form is for, right? It goes just
Yeah.
directly to the preschool promise team. We review all of those to fidelity, right? Nothing is just, oh gosh, they're saying stuff again. We're looking at those and reading through those all very intentionally. And, some things we're not going to be able to do anything either. We're kind of running into that same roadblock if we don't have enough. But we also are not going to not submit that onto CCLD too, right? Those investigators that can go out and conduct that work if we believe there's some concerns as well. Or also if we feel we need to send it to child welfare, or reaching out to you to say, hey, just want to make sure you've made your mandatory report on that. let those professionals deal with whether or not there's enough there, right? We may think there's not. They'll go out and do an investigation, or they'll pass it on to the licensing team to do an investigation if it was closed at screening by child welfare, and they might find things or see things that you and I wouldn't have seen or heard in just a report out.
No, I just appreciate we have that reporting forum option now.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Lisa, I don't know. I know Vanessa has her hand up, but Abby and Patty had their hand up also. Abby or Patty, I don't know which one of you would like to go first. I didn't see that. Go ahead, please.
I can go. We alphabetical. My question is around these enrollment improvement plans and gala waivers. One of our programs that's chronically kind of under enrolled for many years has a gala waiver. And if they don't have to be part of this process, how would, I mean, it just feels like there are 10 spots in a community that has 4 kindergartners enrolled this year. So they're struggling with all of their school enrollment, let alone preschool promise. And the community is kind of stagnant and people aren't moving in or out. So if they're not participating in the EIP process, how will those slots be allocated in a way that's more beneficial to the region?
I'm glad you pointed that out. So in our process, and this is how the process is right now, I'm not going to say that's going to be that way forever because things are constantly changing. But as it is right now, if a grantee is in a gala waiver, has a gala waiver that is approved, that is a key factor there. It has been approved. We do not proceed on those at this time. So hopefully it's a very quick answer. If they're in a gala waiver, we do not proceed. So there will not be an EIP. There will not be additional expectations at that time. So, but will that be the case ongoing? I cannot say that will be, but for right now, that is the position that Preschool Promise and Delk is taking on the gala waivers. Did that answer that question?
Yes and no. I mean,
okay.
Like, I understand you're not proceeding, and that's where we're under enrolled the most year after year
Right.
after year.
Yeah. So can I ask a clarifying question? I don't want to think I know are you more concerned that we're not?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to just assume without, and I do understand that. And believe me, that is a sentiment that is shared, not just here with the hubs. It is shared. We've had conversations across, Delk and through Preschool Promise that there is some concern about that. And it doesn't necessarily feel that great because sometimes those are the ones that maybe need some further direction as it is. But the directive from Preschool Promise, Delk leadership at this time is we're not going to proceed with those. But like I said, that doesn't mean that's always going to be that way. We are definitely reevaluating things as we start this process, see how this goes, and hopefully it'll be a success and we can really tackle those other program areas, those gala waiver areas that should still have some accountability to the slots they're given, and or maybe requiring them to beef up their marketing and their outreach as well, instead of just maybe being comfortable with what they have, right? And that is another component of our low enrollment process that we do. Isn't a part of the EIP, but it's what we do on the backside is we are looking historically at how sites have been doing, right? So if we can see that sites normally don't have an issue with low enrollment, and then all of a sudden they do have it, we're assessing that and we're saying, wow, I wonder if it's just maybe in that area, they just don't have very many 3 to 5 year olds right now. So we're going to, we're being very intentional about looking at all sides of things. We're analyzing so many different things rather than just that less than 80% number, right? We're trying to take a real holistic approach to make sure we're helping you guys be successful, grantees be successful, and reaching kids and families and communities where the need is.
Lisa, before we jump to Michelle with Multnomah and Asa and Vanessa, I just wanted to ensure, Patty, I can't see you. I didn't see your hand up. I want to ensure you don't have a question.
Well, Abby pretty much asked it. We it was about the gala waiver. So that clarified a little bit of that. But we out here in Eastern Oregon have some very rural and frontier areas in um, school districts where the town is less than 150 people, and they are minimally funded at 10 slots in those. We know they are never going to fill those 10 slots, but the assurance that we got was because of the requirements, the education requirements for the teacher and the teacher's assistant and what it costs to run the program. We were awarded 10 slots minimum. They are on a gala waiver, so that answered the question. The low enrollment, I've had to do the low enrollment process before because I've been doing this 10 years and meeting with those districts, but it doesn't matter how much advertising you do if the families are not physically in the area and they're 45 miles from the next, program. It's the only publicly funded preschool in those small areas. So, I hear what you're saying and it could go away, but it's really hard when you have two slots and you're trying to pay a bachelor's level for a head teacher and the educational requirement that Preschool Promise requires, and you only have two kids enrolled. So that's a tough stretch there. These programs are very much needed in these small rural areas, but we can discuss the minimal funding question at another time. So Abby, thanks for asking the question about the gala waiver.
Valuable feedback, Patty. Thank you. I think that Vanessa.
Hi, I kind of really just want to jump in on the lack of funding, and we should have a fail safe. Everyone's feeling funding. CCRNRs, every single one of our partners is feeling the strain with a higher cost of providing care. Saying fail safe feels like a cop out, especially in rural areas where it isn't putting a banner out, because we have families that are living 30 miles out from the site, 20 miles from the site. It takes Teachers don't have the time. Small providers don't have the time to jump in on the weekends. And we're already trying to piece this together, but it takes driving out to them, finding them. It isn't going from flyers to this or boosting an ad when these families don't even have internet. So I really just want to put that out there, that I'm glad that this is coming up, but it is extremely difficult that it's coming at a time where I also have teachers telling me, are we even going to exist as a program? Do I give it my all? Do I push if this program isn't going to be here? There is a lot of sentiment of fear of, are we even going to be here? And to push and rally. And all that's going to do, in all honesty, is burn everyone out. We're already going at 100 to make this happen and just say, where's your fail safe for funding? You should have figured this out, if it is what it really feels like. I don't know if I'm the only one hearing it, but that's kind of what I hear.
Thank you for that feedback, Vanessa. I want to be mindful of time. There's two more questions. And then around 2:15, I am going to share again and then move on. But certainly, if we have questions after that, you're welcome to send those in. I think Michelle with Multnomah or Asa. Michelle?
Hey, it's hopefully a quick answer. The the grantees who were on low enrollment who got slots reduced, are they s- are is if the reduction put them at 100%, are they still required to fill out the low enrollment improvement plan?
So are you talking about the group that was from last program year? Is that
Yes.
correct? The group that was already, so that process is separate from this one, right? So whatever process that last reallocation or corrective action plan process that went through for last program year is,
Mhm.
I believe when we reevaluated those in November, those determinations were made, whether slots were being reduced or whatnot. So
Yeah.
yes, if one of those programs did have their slots reduced, that should be showing up when the monthly report comes through. And then
Mhm.
yes, if they are low enrolled with their even reduced slots, yes, they will need to do an enrollment improvement plan. But
However,
it's,
if they are full at 100% due
Mhm.
to that decrease in slots, is that
Mhm.
still required?
if their monthly report is not demonstrating that they are below 80%, then they will not be needing to do the enrollment improvement plan.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for that clarity.
Yeah, it
I
is
appreciate
literally
it.
each month. So we have just to give a quick, I'll be quick.
Yeah.
Every month, as you guys know, grantees, there's a report that comes in, you guys do your report. We are going off of the grantee report and it populates to a dashboard, all of those that are below 80%. And it pulls all of them out and we're able to identify those precisely. And those are the ones that we're reviewing and looking at right now.
Thank
That
you
does not
so
say
much.
that, yeah, it does not
Okay.
say that 81 to 99 is not eventually going to be looked at as well, because we've added some language in there too. So we're starting with, the lowest enrollment, and eventually we're going to make sure we're identifying all areas that are below 100%.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Michelle. Asa. Hi, Asa. Oh, you're on mute, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. I just have a clarification question regarding reporting. So, did you say that if a family shares a concern with us about a preschool promise site, so do we need to right away contact the child neglect abuse hotline? Or at that point, do we need to request a written statement from the parent and also written consent, or we should just go ahead and report that concern? That's my question. Thank you.
My response to that is you need to follow your training of reporting, right? Mandatory reporter training. And so no, not every single thing that a parent or somebody reports about a preschool promise provider rises to that level, but definitely tapping into that, mandatory reporter training and utilizing that. But it is one of those things where it's, in mandatory reporter training, you're not required to be the person that knows for sure it happened and investigated on your own. It is just literally, there is a concern and it is a health and safety concern, but always going back to that mandatory reporter training to guide you into when those reports need to be made to child welfare. But if you have concerns in general that are identified, using that concerns form that has been created and I believe is in your guys' dashboard, I believe, Sid, Mel, utilizing that if you have concerns, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you again, Lisa. Much appreciated. What a valuable conversation. So thank you for the questions. Thank you for being here and explaining. And then, of course, should you have questions later, just go ahead and send those in and I will try to get them answered. Thanks, Lisa. I'm sharing, correct? You can see my screen? I'm assuming yes. Can someone give me a yes? Thumbs up?
Yeah, we can see
Okay,
it now.
thank you, thank you. Okay, so I am going to go a little bit quicker through the rest of the slides. This slide, you've seen it for the last few months. It is just the kind of condensed little guidance on the Hub PSP region level placement report and the Hub PSP site level placement report. Just want to call out that the Hub site level placement report is due on the 15th moving forward, and I want to acknowledge that a Smartsheet auto email went out I don't know exactly what date it went out, but it did go out in December with the incorrect date of the 25th. When I caught that, I reached out. So just want to acknowledge that was an error. It is due on the 15th moving forward. And then just want to thank you all for being timely reporting, especially on the region level reporting. As we know, those numbers flow directly into the Preschool Promise external facing dashboard on DELC's website. So I will pause and I just have this slide here just to see if there's any questions or anything that we can help clarify with either of these reports. Oh, that's a good thing that I'm not hearing.
I have a quick question. I'm so sorry, and my audio is bad. I'm driving. I did not see one of our sites. Yes, hi.
Hi, Molly.
I didn't see one of our sites. Hi. Sorry, I was late to this call, but I didn't see one of our reports listed when I was doing reporting on the 15th. So do you want me to just send you an email noting which site that was?
Yes, please. And thank you for bringing this up, Molly. I should have clarified that. No need to apologize. First, thanks for being here. I have received this. Let me back up and interrupt myself. This is a brand new report that was built out from our data team, and there has been a few what I would call speed bumps or hiccups in the site level reporting. I have had multiple hubs reach out to me saying, "Hey, Mel, this number should be this," or "This grantee's in my region, it should be in this region." And I've tried to quickly take care of those. And so, in the event that that happens, it sounds like it may still be happening. No worries, just reach out to me, let me know, and then I will get that taken care of as soon as I can. So good call out, Molly. I should have addressed that to begin with.
Thank you. And then one other quick question. I know this meeting got moved up. Are you going to be able to post the recording before everybody goes on break next week? A possibility?
That's a good question. And so I have the ability, I just am a proud owner of a Google license. And so I can actually post the presentation on my own and quickly and get that turned around. But I do need to rely on our communications team in order to upload the video to YouTube. But really, they've been doing it in like 1 or 2 days. So I have been able to quickly turn that around, and I don't expect that. I'm expecting the same next week. So the answer to that, Molly, is as soon as I can get it back from comms, I will send it out, and I'm expecting that to be next week before we go out on holiday break.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then
No,
of course, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No,
We do
no.
have a question in the chat from
Oh.
Alessandro. Do we need to answer the questions of the hub site level placement report if the enrollment is over 80%?
Really, really good question. And that is a change this year. The expectation is that you report the openings as of the last day of the reporting month. That's a change too. You will report it as of the last day of the reporting month for all sites within your region, and then you will answer the additional questions for sites below 80%. So the answer to that is all sites need to have an enrollment number, but just the sites that are 80% or below, you will answer the additional questions. But good question, because that is a change from to this 25-26 program year. And then, of course, hopefully it goes without saying, should you have any questions or run into any bumps after this meeting or as you're doing the report, just reach out to me. Happy to help. I'm going to go to the next slide and just thank you in advance for my vertical title and not horizontal, but I wanted to make the screen shots as large as I can. And this is the Preschool Promise application and obviously the certification of eligibility. You have been hearing me communicate for, I feel like, quite a while that we are updating, and I had clearly said the application and certification of eligibility, but that is a correction on my part. The actual PSP application, I thought I had to add checkaboxes, but I had added that last time. So the application in and of itself is going to remain intact. There will not be any changes from what you all received in, I believe it was March. But in regards to the certificate of eligibility that you all hub staff work on, that does need to go over to the PSP grantee at the time of application. I just want to call out the sections that are highlighted yellow that have been updated, and I thought that just would be easier. And so before adult OHP, SNAP, and TANF, and so forth, they were all on one line item. Now they have been broken out to be on their own line. So WIC has its own line, ERDC has its own line, and hopefully that will be easier for us in tracking purposes, and hopefully easier for you all as well. Then on the next one, down there at the bottom where it says a copy of the child's immunization record, I have added must be from a healthcare organization and not handwritten. I get that question a lot, and I had added that guidance in the actual manual. And so I just tried to be a little bit more consistent, and I added it down below, down here, just so you know that handwritten immunization records are not acceptable at this time. And then over on the second page of the certification of eligibility, over on the right-hand side of the screen, we have added the question, is the family homeless or unhoused? For a yes or no, check a box. And then down below where you see the red arrow, this is not necessarily a change for right now. It's just a call out for this program year. It is a change, and I just want to once again bring attention to it. We had talked about how you identify transfers and so forth, and it used to be its own separate document. Just want to call out once again that it has been added to the bottom of the eligibility document in order for you to use. And so that is not a change. I mean, it is a change this program year, but not a change as of March. I just wanted to bring attention to it so that you all know that that is something that you can utilize, and we hope that you do. So, with all of that, I'm going to say one more thing, and then I'm going to see if I can answer any of your questions. The application has been translated. I was waiting to have a conversation with you all at this meeting, and then next week I will send that out via email and I will upload it to the Hub's dashboard. Just want to identify there's errors. You can't click on the ones right now. I know that, and I'm waiting to upload these. And then also, you've heard me been saying for quite a while now too, also about the enrollment manual going to print. Now that has been translated, all the edits have taken place, and it has been given back to me with a bow. It is now for sure going to be printed, and so you should be receiving those. I actually don't know the timeline, but within the next month, I would assume. So that is my update on the certificate of eligibility. I would like to pause and see if there's any questions or concerns or feedback. I see. Hi there. Go ahead.
Hi, hi, I just had a question. So, do we have to use this specific form, or if we have one already that essentially has all of this information, except minus a couple, can we continue to use that? Because we have one form and we send that to the site when we place the child as well, along with the application.
Really good question, and I'm gonna talk about the Preschool Promise application and the certificate of eligibility as a unit. Sorry, I just made some noise. As a unit, the Preschool Promise Enrollment Manual states that the application and this document as a unit cannot be altered in any way, shape, or form. You cannot add language to it, nor can you delete language. And Dana and I, the Preschool Promise Manager, actually met with DOJ, Department of Justice, with Oregon, to see if there was any wiggle room with that. And there is actually not. But how we took care of that is you are welcome to add another form with additional questions. You just cannot add them to the actual Preschool Promise application in and of itself. Did that answer that question for you?
I
I don't know
think
if I did.
so. So essentially, we have to use this certification of eligibility. We can't use our own, even though the questions were the same.
You have to use this exact certification of eligibility, and this exact certification of eligibility needs to be sent over to the Preschool Promise grantees at the time of placement.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Of course.
So now,
Alessandro.
oh,
Yes, just to clarify, Mel,
the paper application are less than 1% we use for enrollment. So 99% of the enrollment happen with electronic form online. So since the COVID, this is the standard. So can you explain clearly because this is important. So if it has to be exactly the same electronically, it's kind of complicated because we need to resign to have this online. So what are the margin we can use? We will need, as you are saying, clear guideline to transform this paper application electronic application, because there are always issues in exactly the same shape and the same application.
You know what? That's a really good call out, and let me be a little bit more clear. The content, the language within the document needs to remain as is. If you're formatting and your developer needs to adjust anything or something, that you can do that. You just
Okay.
cannot add or delete. Sorry, I should have been a little like, yeah, certainly. Like if you need to make, for some reason, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but your formatting, you can do that if needed, but you cannot add language and you cannot take language away. Is that helpful?
Yes, I just
Gotcha.
and this is for the next year.
This is for this program year, 2025, 2026. Actually, the Preschool Promise application, the date on it is 2025, 2027. We do not, and then if you recall, the Preschool Promise enrollment manual itself has a version now. It does not have an actual date on it, a program year date, so that we do not know when the next update will be on that. But our intent on the Preschool Promise application is to update that by like per biennium. And so that will be updated for the 28, 30. Is that correct? Wow, that just sounds, I
I
gotta
think
think
it's
about that.
2027 to 2029.
Okay, 2027 to 2029. Thank you for that
Right.
correction, because I was thinking,
Not
whoa,
not to
that is
30.
way far in the future.
Yeah.
Okay, did that answer that, Alexandro?
No, the problem is that the change now for the application they are being already online. I mean, it will impact really few people because the program is full. So we use the previous application. So that's to be clear. So that's
Oh,
why I asked it for the next year, because for this year
mhm.
probably we will have 1-2% of enrollment more till the end of the school year. So, but for the next year, and we're gonna do that. And just to be clear, you say that the immunization record are no more a proof of date of birth. Did you say that?
Ask me that one more time.
So family can use the immunization record of a child as a proof of age?
I Let me look, I will include exactly what the enrollment manual says. So I'm not wordsmithing and using my
Because
words. When I follow up, I will
yeah,
include exactly what the enrollment
because
manual.
it's always been a proof of age. Maybe I misunderstood what you said before. Because
No, I'm certain that you can, but what I mean is it can't be a handwritten document,
of
because
course,
even
yes,
I
yes.
have like handwritten documents for my children, and we realized that some hubs thought that those were acceptable, so we just had to clearly identify that those are not acceptable.
Okay, makes sense. Now
Yes.
I know.
And I just really truly want to be mindful of time. We're at 2:31. So I can stay on for a moment longer, but I really, really want to be mindful of individuals' time. If you need to drop off, we are over time. And then the slides that I was not able to cover, I will cover next month. And then I will also include language in my follow-up meeting. So we will cover the data that's needed. Don't worry about that. Not that you were worrying. Katrina.
Yeah, I think you pretty much answered it. I know that when we switched to our new software, we put our entire application on online, and I know that I had some questions that Dana helped me with. We have the electronic signature and stuff on that. And so because I had you guys look at it, I think it's okay. And then yes, we have the additional supplemental questionnaire that has those additional questions. We're in the process of creating for next year the certificate of eligibility form. on that application, because currently we do them by paper and then we upload them, but this will be like a module on the software so that they'll have direct access to it.
Thank you. And you know what? I remember working with you. Thank you for that. Katrina. With that, I am going to stop sharing. And then there was a few things that I was not able to cover, and that would be, I just had a few things on the gala waiver that I wanted to call out for clarification. So I will include that in my follow-up email to this meeting, and then I will move that slide to our January meeting. I do want to call out that the next scheduled meeting is a series. I did it in Zoom, so we are no longer in Teams, and I set that meeting up through the end of this program year. And so you will be using the same meeting series invite now. So just like we had in November and December were a little bit different, wanted to call that out. And then certainly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for your partnership and your collaboration and just for caring about your communities. I wish you a safe and just what a wonderful, whatever you need, time off during this season. And if you have any questions afterwards, please just email me. Thank you all.
Mel, do you know when the FPLs will be available?
Say that.
The federal poverty levels, the FPLs.
I do not know when that would be available, but usually historically in the past, the federal government has published it in January and February, but I don't know what that will look like this year. But I will say, we did go back and forth with this, and we are not going to, that will not be published in the actual enrollment manual. We will give you guidance on how to link it to the actual federal website. And the reason why is so that our guidance, we don't have outdated guidance, that you will be able to go and have the most current FBL. But that being said, it is my responsibility to flip it on Department of Early Learning and Care's external website. So I actually go and I have a little tickler on my calendar and I go and look weekly starting in January to see when that has been updated federally. And then I work with our team to get that updated as soon as we can. But good question.
Mel,
Thank you.
follow up on that.
Athena.
This is the first year that we've actually been able to use the FPL as soon as it was updated by the feds. Previously we couldn't change it until
Correct.
the program year. Is it going to be the same again this year where we can start using the higher FPL as soon as it's released?
That is a really good question, Athena. And I remember announcing that and being so excited, and I have not heard of anything changing. So I don't think it will, but I will follow up. I will ask that internally to see, and then I will include that in my email. I know exactly what you're talking about. You're referring to when it is published in January, that let's say you have a family that comes in January 31st, you can actually use the January published FPL to see if that family is eligible. That's what you're referring to, correct, Athena?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were able to do that this year,
Yep.
but in the past we had to use the FPL that was published the previous year so everybody had the same guidelines. So I just wanted to double check when that would be.
Yeah, yep, and I'll look into that. I remember Dana and I were excited to be able to communicate that all. Yeah, so I have a few things to follow up with you all. And with that, I think I will end the meeting. I appreciate
Thank
seeing you
you.
all. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Mel. Thanks, everybody. Good to see you.
Hi, Mel.
Yeah,
Do you have a second?
yeah. Do you want to Teams me?
Yes, please.
I'll send you an invite, Kayasa.
Okay, thank you.
Can you invite me as well too, Mel?
Maybe Rodrigo. No, of course I will.
Oh my God.
Bye.
Okay, see you soon then,
See you
Mel.
soon
Thank
as
you.